But unfortunately, this Andrew scandal is not going away. There are reports around how Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, of course formerly known as Prince Andrew, is spending his final days at Royal Lodge, and he's said to be ranting to himself. Is that right, Andrew?
Well, we go from the tears of the crown to the tears of a clown, don't we? And every week we have more and more scandals. Apparently what's happening now, they're ranting claims. He's round there, he's had a meltdown at the manor, if you like. He's raging in the Royal Lodge. And it's probably the end of the party former prince. Apparently what's happening, he's ranting to himself. He's very upset about how he's being treated. And his ex-wife, Sarah, seeks solace in the secret doghouse bar. And she's apparently persuading staff members to stay late so she can have a drink with them while they basically lick their wounds. But it's been a terrible time for the former prince. As we say, every single week there have been these revelations. More and more emails have been leaked, and more people are trying to distance themselves from him. It's basically a lot of loneliness, a lot of soul searching is going on from this massive Royal Lodge, which you and I have spoken about previously. It's a 30-bedroom mansion where they've been living a number of years. He pays a peppercorn rent. As you know, he paid £1 million at the beginning of his lease, and then paid a tiny amount, a peppercorn, on the basis that he would obviously pay for the upkeep. He's now received this summons from the US to appear for the US Congress. Basically, when he sort of had this email revelation has come out saying to Epstein, "We are in this together." And they believe that he's got a lot of information that could help with their inquiries. He's supposed to respond to that by the 20th of November. Watch this space. He has resisted any temptation to answer questions beforehand. You might remember in that BBC interview, he said he would go on the advice of his lawyers. Well, certainly to date, he hasn't contributed to clarity in that sort of way. I always say that sunlight is the best disinfectant. Let's see what happens, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he does remain stumm.
Yes, I tend to agree with you there. There are also questions over what the royal family is going to do with Andrew this Christmas, because it seems very unlikely that the former Duke will be invited to King Charles's family celebration on the Sandringham estate.
Oh, no, absolutely. And we always say he's not going to be invited around at the Monopoly table. This is what the ruthless Prince William, as we called him, basically, he got his wish. Today we're reminded daily about how uncomfortable he felt at the Duchess of Kent's funeral when Andrew was trying to sidle up to him and try to exchange a few words. And I know quite a few lip readers who can tell you what they really said under his breath. But the reality is, no, they are desperate to get away from Andrew. They're desperate. No one wants to be seen with him. So the concern is this, his Christmas nightmares. Basically, the daughters might ditch dad for Sandringham. We'll see what happens on that sort of basis. And he could be left in solitude. So those close to him are saying, well, where's he going to spend Christmas? Last year, they spent it together. His daughters went off to their own family members, to their husbands' families, effectively. But Fergie will probably go off somewhere hot. And Andrew could well be left alone eating a meal for one bought from the local supermarket.
And what about Princess Beatrice, Princess Eugenie? It's unlikely that they'll be celebrating with their parents as well.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. They are basically still in the throes of this sort of terrible scandal. And what's happened is that the king has made it clear, look, he doesn't want them to be tarnished. They might have this Yuletide U-turn, if you like. They won't have the Sandringham snub that Andrew's going to get. And I think they could very well be welcomed into the fold. And that would be a good thing. As I say, it's only a few weeks before Christmas. I know Christmas decorations are up already in London, quite scandalous that they do it so early. But what's happening is last year they spent it with their respective partners, their husbands, families. This year, I would absolutely expect them to be seen in Sandringham, which will be the king's gesture to say, look, the poor princesses shouldn't be punished in this way for the sins of their father.
Now, Prince William has opened up about the challenges of answering questions from his young children amid his wife's battle with cancer. Prince William opened up to a Brazilian TV show host last week about how he was handling those questions during such a difficult time. Can you tell us a bit more about what he had to say?
Well, it's very easy for us to sort of say, well, this is it. You've got this sort of stuff, very matter of fact. The reality is there are three small children who've been shielded from a lot of the disasters. And William has made it very clear in the various interviews, and you and I have spoken about this previously as well, is that he wants them to lead normal lives. But he also is trying to handle how they deal with this horrible news about their mother's diagnosis. And as he says, there's no manual for heartbreak, and he's guiding George, Charlotte, and Louis through their mother's battle. Basically, as you say, there was the Rio chat show host, Luciano Huck, which William sat down with him just before the Earthshot prize and bared a brutal strain, that's what he called it, a brutal strain of fielding his kids' raw questions on Kate's diagnosis. And basically, she's now in remission, but George, who's 12, Charlotte, 10, and Louis, 7, they want straight talk. They're basically trying to sort of ditch the secrecy for oversharing honesty and hiding stuff. This is what William says, hiding stuff doesn't work. He wants to give them the bigger picture, but also to say, look, they're united as a family to try and cope through these difficult times. But he says, look, there's no parent playbook, if you like, for the panic. It's instinct over instruction, and it's a vulnerable peak, if you like, at royal resilience.
Now, Prince George has been increasingly in the spotlight this year. There's already speculation that he's entering this next chapter of royal training. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Oh, it's totally a fair assessment. 12 years old, he is the king in waiting, as we say. Once William, he's next after him, and basically he's being introduced to a number of these major events. We saw him making a milestone debut at the Royal Albert Hall, the glorious Royal Albert Hall Festival of Remembrance over the weekend. He strode into the royal box. Obviously, the king was there with the queen, and it was a poised pivot, signalling his grooming, if you like, as a future monarch. And experts basically say, look, we're going to see more and more of him stepping forward with these duties. He was very good, for example, on VE Day. He talked to some of the veterans there and was very empathetic. He spoke to a 101-year-old veteran about how difficult it was. And the vet turned to Prince William and said, you must be very proud. He's doing this very well at this VE Day tea party. He's also been to football matches and so on and so forth with his father, so he's a regular there. And basically, he wants to sort of work on the premise that we're going to groom him to be the future monarch. Now, Prince William himself had quite a shock when he was found out that he was destined to be king, because he found out from his schoolmates. He wasn't really told much at home. Diana was very keen to sort of shield him away and so on and so forth. But what happened, he sort of discovered it in that sort of unguarded moment at school that he was the future king. What William wants to do, what Princess Catherine wanted to do, is to break the news in their own way, what they call a controlled moment of their choice, rather than let him find out through his school friends. So that's going to happen. He's obviously been a familiar face for a number of times. You might remember those wonderful moments on his second birthday, just before his second birthday in 2015. He joined his great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, on the balcony at Buckingham Palace for the Trooping of the Colour. He was also seen down under in New Zealand, as just a few months old, when that's his very, very first public appearance. But we can expect to see more of him, and he certainly, from what I've seen so far, is filling that role very, very well.
Yes, absolutely. Now, it's been revealed that Meghan Markle is going to play, wait for it, herself in a new movie, Close Personal Friends. And the reports are that Prince Harry is actually happy about the career move, because it might mean less intimate moments being shared on social media. I'm not sure if it means that, but what do you make of this new move by Meghan?
Oh, I love it. It's brilliant, isn't it? She's been rehearsing for this role for 44 years to play herself. It's really good. What it is this acting comeback from Suits to Spotlight. It's the Royal Revenge remix, if you like. She's going to be making a return in what the movie is called Close Person Friends. The film also features Lily Collins, Bry Larson, and Jack Quaid, and it follows two couples where one is famous and the other is not. Interesting. She's best known for her role as Rachel Zane in Suits, as you remember, but she's also had Hollywood roles in Horrible Bosses, Get Him to the Greek, and Remember Me. Well, we can't forget, can we? You talk about Harry being happy. Well, happy wife, happy life is what we're going to try and do, but the suggestion that she won't be there capturing those sort of candid candid moments. I'm sure we're going to see lots of on-set moments being shared in the appropriate way. What was quite touching, actually, and I think it's important to say, she talked about her early life in trying to, as a struggling actress, obviously mixed race, and she was saying there were very few roles available for her because the roles that people wanted was sort of girl next door, blonde hair, blue eyes, the sort of role that you would get, Gabriella, without any problem at all. But she talked about that, and she talked about actually how difficult it is and how resilient she has to be as an actress. And I have the joy, as you know, going down to Cannes regularly to speak at the different festivals down there. And I had a lunch with the wonderful Abigail Spencer, who was Meghan Markle's co-actor in Suits. And she was telling me some lovely stories about Meghan Markle, the good stuff we don't necessarily hear about. And bizarrely enough, it was also Rick Astley was there as well. So interesting times on that sort of basis. But there are some good sides. So she went through moments of self-doubt. She's opened up about that. And we're going to see more and more of her on our screens playing herself. How exciting is that?
Well, look, we have to talk about the partying that they've been getting up to, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They're getting roasted right now after Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian deleted photos posing with the Sussexes from Instagram. Now, of course, they both posted pictures and then deleted them. This is, of course, this was when they attended Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party. But what does that tell you? I mean, it's a pretty big move.
Oh, it's a totally big move. A total shock, wasn't it? I was looking at the Instagram. People can still see it. It's up there. You go through the Instagram, they post of all sorts of other celebrities. But Meghan and Harry are not there at all.
They're gone.
So it's interesting. But they were there at what was the 49th anniversary of the 21st birthday, put it that way, of Kris Jenner. It was a 00700 heaven themed party, which was lots of fun. And it was held at Jeff Bezos' Beverly Hills Pile. And in amongst the A-listers are people like Oprah and Adele and all sorts of things. And a lot of people were saying, well, look, Harry managed to turn up for one of the events with a poppy on, rather similar to what I'm wearing on my lapel. But Meghan got a lot of criticism because she didn't wear one herself. And she said, well, it's very difficult to find poppies in the US. Obviously, it's very easy to find edible flowers, but not easy to find poppies.
Can find flower sprinkles, no problem.
Time with Oprah Winfrey, Naomi Watts was there as well. There was broadcaster Gayle King, entrepreneur and TV personality Martha Stewart, and also Bill Gates. An extraordinary party. But when you look at the Instagram, it seems to have been airbrushed out.
Very interesting indeed. Andrew Eborn, thank you so much for joining us here on Power Hour. Brilliant to speak with you.
It's lovely to see you as always. See you next week.